Notre Dame. Let's show you what this week will bring. A big week. Let's start off with the AMC Conference standings on the baseball side of things. We told you that Mount Vernon of Nazarene percentage points ahead of Point Park for first place. Here at this point, they sit at 10-4 in the AMC Conference. The Pioneers right below them at 11-5. The Malone Pioneers right below that at 10-6. Cedarville at 8-6, and then the two bottom ones, Notre Dame and Walsh, down there at 5-6. The top three teams advance to the AMC Conference. The one seed will get home field throughout the playoffs. That means they will host every game that happens in the AMC tournament. Now let's take you to the road ahead for the Pioneers. A big road ahead. They have Salem International and Penn State, I think it's Greater Allegheny on Wednesday and a couple non-conference games. But then the weekend is where it gets big for the Pioneers. They have Cedarville on Friday at 1 o'clock, a doubleheader there. And then the next day on Saturday at Cedarville, that is also at 1 o'clock. Cedarville is going to be fighting for their playoff lives here in this one. Plusso, Lautzenheiser, Clark, Monroe, all scheduled to go. The big one, Matt Desmond, is going to be with Mount Vernon of Nazarene. You'd have to figure the Pioneers could really use 4 wins against Cedarville. Mount Vernon of Nazarene has Cedarville on Thursday in a doubleheader. Then they have Malone on Friday in a doubleheader, and then they have Malone again on Saturday in a doubleheader. That's 6 games in 3 days for the Cougars. That's going to be a tough stretch for Mount Vernon.
Yeah, you have to look at Mount Vernon's probabilities against these teams lower in the AMC Conference. You see Malone and Cedarville. Cedarville's fighting to get in that third playoff spot, and Malone's trying to stay at that steady number 3 spot. So both these ball clubs are going to be fighting to get into the playoffs, while Mount Vernon's going to try to maintain that number 1 position up at the top of the AMC Conference.
You always hear about a magic number in baseball, and for the Pioneers, the magic number 1. From Lauren Torres, the magic number, he says, is 1 victory. 1 win will secure a playoff spot for the Pioneers. In the end of things, that's all you really need to do is just get in. Yeah, home field is nice, and I think for the Pioneers, it is a big deal. I think the home field for them is maybe more important to any of the other teams there, Mount Vernon or Malone, or however it may fall. The big thing is you see there's 2 teams in this playoff scramble that are playing 6 games in 3 days. That's Cedarville as well as Mount Vernon of Nazarene. Those 2 teams are going to have to pitch 5 and 6 guys as far as starters are concerned. They're back half of their rotation in key AMC Conference games.
Yeah, I think the momentum level for the Point Park Pioneers is at a high right now. You just have Coach Lauren Torres just got his 150th win as a coach. That's huge for Point Park. And then you look at the batting for Point Park. You have David Engel, and then you have Lee Bodner, who are starting to get in the stride of their hot streaks right now for the Point Park Pioneers. And now you mentioned that Cedarville and Mount Vernon have to go 6 games in an amount of 3 days. That's really going to hurt their pitching arms, and it's going to create a better opportunity for the Point Park Pioneers to maintain a stable performance throughout their games, and maybe a little stress off their backs.
On Friday, you'll have Peluso and Lautzenheiser go against already the back half probably of that Cedarville rotation, the middle half of it, and then Saturday you have the complete back half of it. You have that 4 and 5 starter. That benefits the Pioneers so much, and then it's going to be a struggle for Mount Vernon take care of business against Malone, who has a good back half of their rotation, when they're going to be playing guys that they normally would not start in AMC Conference games.
Yeah, as you see, when Point Park played Malone, they had some very nice pitchers in their rotation, and I think they're going to cause a lot of trouble when they do face that Mount Vernon team. And I think it's going to be fairly an advantage for the Point Park Pioneers, because they're going to be fairly rested, and they're going to have to face these other AMC teams who are going to be playing every other day.
How big do you think it is for the Pioneers to have that home field throughout the AMC playoffs and host that AMC tournament? If you get that 1 seed with the top 3 only advancing, you only have to win 2 games. This is double elimination in the AMC tournament. You win twice if you're that 1 seed. That's all you got to do. You don't have to play 2 teams opposed to 1.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice to get that number 1 standing and get that home field advantage, but I really don't think Point Park is going to be that worried about it. Say they do have to go on the road. They've been a very, very good road team this year compared to the past years in the AMC. I think that their confidence going into these games are going to be much higher than it were previous years. They are now a winning baseball team, and that's very important for Point Park. It's something they haven't experienced in the past, and I think that positive ambition is going to stay with this Point Park team and carry them throughout the playoffs.
Let's throw out the games against Salem International and Penn State Greater Allegheny. Let's focus on the Cedarville games. What do you see them doing against the Yellow Jackets, first at home on Friday and then on the road on Saturday?
Well, now you have your top of the rotation, and then you have Peluso and Lutenheiser. They're throwing the ball perfectly this season. I could see them probably Cedarville's going to challenge them probably the hardest in the first 2 games because they're going to try to get to their aces, get them off track. So that makes the confidence level for the Pioneers go a little bit downhill when they turn over to Clark and Monroe. But I like the Pioneers winning 3 out of 4 of these baseball games against Cedarville.
3 out of 4.